Lorraine, the eldest of 3 siblings, grew up on a small farm with her parents, both corn farmers. Since they couldn't afford her college tuition, she helped sell produce in town. One day, an elegant recruiter spotted Lorraine's pretty face and offered her work as a housemaid in Saudi Arabia. Eager to lift her family out of poverty, she convinced her parents to pawn their farmland to cover the placement fee. At 18, Lorraine left the Philippines, determined to provide a better life for her loved ones. Lorraine expected standard housekeeping tasks upon landing in this foreign land. Instead, a well-dressed man greeted her and led her to a palatial estate, so grand it felt more like a palace than a simple mansion. Wide-eyed, she followed him inside. "Do you speak Arabic?" he asked. "No, sir," she replied, trembling at the formality. "Perfect," he said. "His Royal Highness needs a fiancé, one who won't be able to chat with his family. It's just an act. 2 weeks or maybe a month. You'll earn nearly $7 million. Lorraine froze. A pretend fiancé? She'd only planned to be a maid. But the promise of $7 million was enough to redeem the farmland, send her siblings to school, and finish her own education. She swallowed her fear. "I'll do it," she declared. The man handed her paperwork, including a small advance sum. Without further explanation, he escorted her to a private room. There, she braced herself to meet some older, overweight sheik. Instead, a tall, muscular, devastatingly handsome young Arab man entered. He wore formal Saudi attire, exuding regal confidence. She nearly forgot to breathe. "Is she the girl?" he asked in a deep baritone. "Yes, Your Highness. Leave us." Once the advisor left, the prince turned to Lorraine. "You're mine now." She glanced around. "Sir?" He gave a half-smile. "You're supposed to be my fiancé. Don't call me sir, call me honey." Still reeling, Lorraine blurted, "You're like a frog, an Arab frog prince." Before she could correct herself, he kissed her. Stunned, she realized she'd have to pretend intimacy even if it meant stolen kisses. He introduced himself. "I'm Hakim Rashad Al-Akil. You can call me Hakim or something sweet." Then another quick kiss. "My father arrives soon. Stay close and be ready," Hakim said. "We have dinner tonight." Though nervous, Lorraine discovered Hakim's family welcomed her kindly, apparently delighted he was finally settling down. According to gossiping maids, his father threatened to cut him off if he didn't marry soon and produce a grandchild. Everyone compared him to his more dutiful older brother, set to inherit the throne. Under pressure, Hakim staged this fiancé ruse. Days passed, and Lorraine realized she was falling for Hakim's warmth and hidden kindness, even though she doubted he truly cared. Late one evening, while teaching him Tagalog words, he called her beautiful. She shyly teased him back, sparking a grin. Then he kissed her so ardently that she barely noticed him locking the bedroom door. Their passion intensified, and soon they were under the sheets together, sharing a deeply intimate first time. Morning found Lorraine awakened by an empty bed. Wandering the mansion, she glimpsed him on the phone with a woman he called baby. Another lover? She scolded herself for feeling heartbroken. She'd sold her services as a fake fiancé. After all, she tried ignoring it. But that day he rushed out, leaving her alone. To distract herself, she rummaged through her new phone, searching for news about Prince Hakim. She found endless images of him with glamorous celebrities, most notably a stunning lady named Alia. Internet blogs hinted Alia was his real partner, an heiress who'd once studied abroad. They were apparently soulmates, though pressured by arranged plans that never quite worked out. Lorraine's chest squeezed. So that's who baby is. Nevertheless, she pretended nothing was wrong. When Hakim returned late at night, drunk, she helped him change out of his clothes. In his intoxicated haze, he pressed kisses onto her neck, calling her Alia in a mumble. Devastated, Lorraine fled, tears streaming. She realized more painfully that their intimacy meant nothing to him. Frustrated, she set out to act as a carefree girlfriend around him, wearing bold outfits to provoke him. One afternoon, they lounged by the pool, flirting dangerously close, enough for his parents to glimpse them from a distance. Later, in his room, she confronted him. Who is Alia? He dodged the question, forcing her to demand honesty. Shoulders sagging, he admitted Alia was his first love. They'd been engaged, but she left to pursue her own ambitions. He was brokenhearted, forced by his father to find a bride before he lost his inheritance. Lorraine recognized she was just a stand-in. Yet, with tears in her eyes, she allowed him to hold her under the shower, their passion rekindling despite her heartbreak. Time rolled on. Lorraine found herself pregnant, overcome by confusion. She kept it secret at first. She tried to gently tell Hakim, hoping for a glimmer of real commitment, but fear gnawed at her. Meanwhile, his older brother Kif took a liking to her, offering support and kindness. He discovered her pregnancy test and insisted she see a doctor, stepping into the father role in front of medical staff. Hakim, suspicious, grew jealous. One day, the two brothers clashed physically, pushing Lorraine aside until she nearly collapsed. A doctor confirmed her pregnancy was delicate, commanding rest. In a drunken rage, Hakim told her to abort the child. He declared he only needed her for the inheritance. Lorraine's world crumbled, tears falling. She still loved him, but she wouldn't destroy their baby. Overhearing this, Hakim's father threatened to cut him off forever if he didn't accept responsibility. Lorraine withdrew from him, uncertain if she'd return to the Philippines. Kif offered to accompany her, wanting to care for her himself, but she remained torn. Then everything changed on their wedding day. The pressure from his father pushed Hakim into an early marriage ceremony, promising that if they wed, he'd do right by the baby. Though Lorraine sensed he wasn't in love, she agreed. Perhaps they could still form a family. They left the reception in a gilded car, a gift from his father, only to be crashed into by a second vehicle. Screams erupted, metal twisted, and Lorraine lost consciousness. The other driver was Alia, apparently pregnant herself, who died instantly. As paramedics arrived, Hakim, barely alive, was whisked away. Lorraine miscarried their child and fell into a coma for 21 days. Hakim recovered first. Haunted by grief over losing the baby, he stayed at Lorraine's bedside, vowing daily that if she woke, he'd devote himself fully to her. When she finally stirred, the doctors explained she'd lost her baby in the accident. Lorraine wept bitterly, feeling numb, sensing her heartbreak. Hakim begged her not to leave him. "We're married, and I promise to love you if you stay," he said. Yet Lorraine wondered, now that the baby's gone, do we have any reason to stay married? But heartbreak softened as he showered her with genuine care. No longer chasing Alia's memory, they got their own mansion, enormous and lavish, where she recovered. He overcame his guilt, sincerely telling her she was the one he wanted. Slowly, she believed him. "I'm sorry for everything," Hakim repeated, each new day proving his devotion. She began to smile again, leaning on him for strength. Within weeks, they teased each other like real lovers, forging a deeper bond. For the first time, Lorraine felt sure he'd chosen her willingly, not just out of obligation. One morning, Lorraine asked if they could visit her family in the Philippines. She was healthy enough, and she missed them terribly. Hakim agreed. Her father, having never met him, insisted they come in person. A plane ride later, they arrived at her modest hometown. Her parents greeted them with curiosity and lingering suspicion, but her father softened once he saw Hakim's humble, respectful attitude. They spent days adjusting to the rural environment, with rickety jeepneys and scorching heat. Hakim adapted, even enjoying local dishes like adobo. Lorraine had hidden so many secrets from her parents, but she finally told them how she ended up married. It began as a job, pretending to be a prince's fiancé, turned into heartbreak and, surprisingly, real love. Her mother and father, though shocked, embraced her. They recognized Hakim's sincerity. During an outing at a local resort, Hakim disappeared for hours. Near sunset, Lorraine walked to the pool area, only to find him waiting amid flowers and twinkling lanterns. Their families stood nearby, wearing broad smiles. With a microphone in hand, he knelt for a second proposal. "Love, the first time I proposed, I wasn't sure of my heart," he admitted. "But now I'm certain. You showed me real love. Will you marry me, truly, before your family, so the whole world knows I love you?" She cried, nodding an emotional yes. Their parents rejoiced, forming a circle of acceptance. 2 months later, they had a beach wedding ceremony in the Philippines, this time with only close relatives. Hakim's parents flew in, and even his brother Kif gave a sincere blessing. Lorraine wore a simple white dress, smiling radiantly as she exchanged vows. "I promise to keep fighting for us, no matter how rough the road. I'll love you every single day." Hakim responded, "I chose you, Lorraine, and I'll keep choosing you forever. You taught me how to cherish and protect someone with my whole heart." They kissed as the waves lapped behind them, sealing their unity in front of the very people Lorraine had once feared to disappoint. Freed from secrets and heartbreak, they stepped forward as equals, husband and wife by pure devotion. Back in the Philippines, they settled into a balanced life, co-managing a small business. Lorraine also enrolled in college, determined to achieve the education she'd once only dreamed of. Over time, she discovered she was pregnant again, carrying the child they'd yearned for. This time, it was safe, joyous, and welcomed by both families. In a cozy backyard one evening, Lorraine watched her belly grow, recalling how she'd arrived in Saudi Arabia as a timid housemaid, only to find love with a prince who first saw her as a convenient fiancé. The improbable journey had cost them tears, heartbreak, even tragedy, but led them here, forging an unshakable bond. Hakim strolled up behind her, pressing a gentle kiss to her shoulder. "Love," he said, "thank you for believing in me." She turned, eyes glistening, and returned his smile. "Thank you for showing me I was worthy of real love." They embraced under the soft glow of twilight, already planning a future filled with children's laughter, supportive in-laws, and two cultures fused into a single, strong family.